Good afternoon. At approximately 7 a.m., an employee found what appears to be a spent shell casing near the 6th floor elevators of the Knight campus. The incident was reported to campus police, and when college administration was notified, the decision was immediately made to evacuate the building. Following CCRI's public safety protocols, the college instructed everyone to immediately evacuate the Knight campus and suspended classes until further notice. Campus police contacted Warwick Police Department to assist in conducting a complete search of the building. No weapons or additional shell casings were found during the search. The safety of our students, faculty, and staff are our #1 priority, and in light of the tragedy yesterday at UNC Charlotte, we made the decision to evacuate our campus. I want to thank our campus police. I also want to thank the Warwick Police for leading this investigation. And finally, I want to thank the State Police and Providence Police for their assistance. I will now turn it over to Captain Collins of our campus police and Warwick Police Colonel Rathbun to provide details of the incident and answer any questions related to the investigation. Thank you.
Good morning. As the President stated, this morning we were notified that there was a spent shell casing found. Highly unusual circumstance. It was on the 6th floor where all the classrooms are. After consultation, out of an abundance of caution, we decided that we wanted to evacuate the building and conduct a thorough search. I consulted with Colonel Rathbun from the Warwick Police. He agreed with that decision and provided us with a tremendous amount of resources that were then augmented by Providence and State Police, particularly canine dogs. It took some time to do a complete and thorough search of the building and the field house. However, the search, particularly with the firearms detection dogs, we were unable to find anything, and the scene is now deemed safe.
Good afternoon. Speaking on behalf of the Warwick Police Department, I want to make sure the message gets out to all of you that today's response by the police department is an example of the interagency cooperation with the campus security and police force here. This has been an ongoing process going back to August, where we train, plan, and communicate with the public safety side of the house here at the community college. As a result of that preparation, we were able to respond effectively today. We had units on scene within minutes. We knew our roles, and that interagency cooperation, because of our pre-planning, went exactly as we expected to. The college has been cleared, obviously. The community of CCRI, as well as the city, needs to know that it is now safe to be back on campus. And I look forward to continuing this level of cooperation with the Community College Rhode Island Police Department and Public Safety side of the house for future responses if, unfortunately, they're needed.
I would just add to that there will be a communication through our emergency system instructing faculty and staff and students when to return to the campus.
How many students were on the campus? How many had to be evacuated? Do we know?
On any given day, it's difficult to say. I would say on a Wednesday, at least 4,000. I couldn't give you an exact number though.
Was this the evacuation plan that you would also have in place for any kind of emergency, including an active shooter situation, or was this specifically for what you had found, even though you didn't tell students yet what was found?
So it's not, it's on a case-by-case basis. Active shooter, we would do a lockdown depending on the circumstances. Parking lot, building, depends on where the shooter is. In this case, there was no shooter. It was a found of spent ordnance, and we wanted to determine what, if anything else, might be in the building. So that way, you know, obviously you need the building evacuated to conduct a thorough search.
Just to follow up on that from the police department, Warwick Police Department side of the house, our response might have been different in terms of how we adjust our traffic control points. We had a traffic flow plan, which some people initially were talking about only letting a percentage of cars out at a time. Based upon the distance of the exits from the department, from the main building where the shell casing was discovered, it was appropriate to alternate traffic. In an active shooter, we would potentially close down East Avenue for longer periods of time. So it does change and fluctuate based upon the response.
There was a bullet casing found in Murrayville the other day. Did you happen to match up that casing that you guys found today with the bullet casing found in Murrayville the other day? Did state police find any similarities between those two?
So the investigation is being handled by the Warwick Detective Division. We will look at all facets, including regional and statewide incidents that may be common, but at this point I can't comment. It's in its infancy in terms of the investigation. Those are factors we'll look at in its totality as we progress.
Did the students get a text or a social media? Is there a system that they get a text or something like this? Did
Yes,
that happen?
absolutely. We utilize the RAVE system. It's an emergency alert system, and it's very robust. We've been adding to it over the last couple of years. It sends text, email, social media, Twitter, Facebook. It takes over desktops, so there's very little chance of people not getting the message.
Does
And
a
everyone-
student have to enroll in that, or is it automatic?
It's more automatically enrolled. They can opt out of it, but everyone's automatically enrolled. And that is handled through IT with RAVE, and it's uploaded on a daily basis.
Any idea on how many students would have gotten that text? Is there a number for that?
We can find out. It has a reporting mechanism, so normally we have about 18,000 people on the rolls. With people can add their parents and emergency notification.
And how much did
procedures.
UNC yesterday figure into your decision today?
Well, we don't live in a bubble. We always look at what's going on as a matter of, you look at the criminal intelligence, what's going on in the area. Obviously, what happened yesterday, what happened in Burrillville, these are all things you can't erase from your mind. They're with us, right? So we take a lot of things into consideration, but the most important thing we take into consideration is the safety of our college community.
Mr. Bennett, can you just say when you found out about this and your just reaction to all this today?
Mayor, can you come to the mic, please? Thank you.
Yes,
Closer the better, Mayor.
I was contacted by the colonel, and I was across the street, and colonel swung by, picked me up, and I came here as soon as the colonel arrived, as soon as we were summoned to assist CCRI in their department, and I'm very pleased with what I saw relative to interagency cooperation and working together, and safe evacuation of a high number of students and faculty. And I'm also pleased that of the end result here today, that there was no injuries incurred, and it ended up the way it did.
If someone intentionally, you found, left this shell casing around, would this lead to criminal charges?
Potentially, but again, as part of this investigation, we have to go step by step. We have to look at the intent. We have to look at obviously who's involved. So it's too premature for me to say what specific charges would be pending, but I can guarantee you the Warwick Police Department, in cooperation with the community college, take this very seriously, and the investigation will be thorough and methodical, and if charges are warranted, they will be filed.
Did you guys happen to find any type of security cameras that were near where the bullet casing was found?
In terms of camera coverage, that's part of the investigation. I don't want to comment further on that in terms of any details at this point.
Chief, does this operation happen whether or not North Carolina happened, do you think? Are you same response whether or not North Carolina happened yesterday?
What I can tell you all is as the Chief Collins noted, it is a different world than it has been in the past, and we have to take the abundance of caution at times. I think by having a measured response that's pre-planned, it makes it easier to talk about evacuation and lockdowns versus in the past when there wasn't pre-planning. Going back to a full-scale incident back in August, we wouldn't have that capability. So you look at our capability, in terms of the agency's communications, and you do look at the world we live in and the world threats.
Are you going to have an increased security presence here from the department standpoint over the next couple of days?
I'm not going to comment on any specific tactical response or patrol response for obvious reasons for officer safety.
Will school be reopened today?
It will. There'll be a message going out shortly instructing faculty and staff when to report and students when classes will resume.
We also saw on social media some posts about how recently there were racist remarks found on maybe a bathroom wall or somewhere. Are you looking at that as possibly being linked to what was found today, or any thing that you can say about that investigation?
Unfortunately, we have a couple of instances every year involving racist issues, and primarily around the restrooms. It's an area of privacy where people can write things, right? So whether the two are connected or not, we don't know. That's why we're going to continue the investigation.
I can answer some questions related to that separate from this if you'd like, about the graffiti and the restrooms.
Were there cameras in the area where the bullet casing was found?
We have installed just recently, as part of our increased security on campus, we've just completed the installation of a very robust camera system, so there are cameras throughout the building and the parking lot.
Mark?
What type of casing was that?
I'm not going to comment on the specifics of the caliber or the specifics of the evidence at this point until the investigation is completed.
there was a lot of students walking off campus that didn't have rides necessarily. Did RIPTA assist in helping those students, find rides at such short notice?
I know we coordinated with RIPTA, and there was some assistance provided. And then at some point, obviously, RIPTA has to stop sending buses to campus as well.
Obviously, you can learn from all experiences. What do you think you've learned from this particular experience and the response?
Again, that message pre-planning works. In this instance, communication was solid from the beginning. The response was within minutes. We had multiple agencies communicating. There was no communication blackout, to include the Providence State Police, who joined to assist us. So the lesson in this is that by pre-planning and working together prior to an incident, it does make a difference when they actually occurs.
How quickly was everyone evacuated?
I haven't had an opportunity to develop any type of timeline. That'll be part of our after action. I want to say that it went very smoothly from my perspective. It's a large building. It takes a while to evacuate, but it all looked to go fairly smoothly.